There's the bright golden head on the meadow. It's Unbreakable in podcast. Monday, October 6th. This weekend sucked. I need to play some uplifting music. What a beautiful morning. What a beautiful day. Everybody sing. I have a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. The Phillies suck and the Eagles suck because they lost this weekend. But we're going to talk about the Phillies and we're going to talk about the Eagles. But I had to play something uplifting because it was such a depressing, bad weekend. Wasn't it bad? If you're a Philly sports fan, it was awful. Oh, oh, I missed my calling in life. I should have been a Broadway singer. I've got a beautiful feeling. So, well, let's start with the Phillies, okay? Since they played Saturday, let's start with the Phillies. All right, shut this thing off. Alexa, stop. Stop with that shit. Oh my God, oh my God. It's like deja vu all over again, like Yogi Berra said, huh? Those Phillies thought they were going to get off to a good start Saturday. Game one, National League Divisional Series against the stinking Los Angeles Dodgers. Home field advantage, played at the bank. Everybody's hyped up for Red October. And we get out to a 3-0 lead in the second inning behind Christopher Sanchez. And we said, we got off after Ohtani, and everything looked good. Everything looked good. And then came the freaking sixth inning. And Sanchez ran into some problems. He was getting tired. Well, our intrepid manager, who I think overall has done a good job, not great, but a good job with this team, brings in stinking rotten, washed up over the hill, David Robertson. Well, David Robertson sucks. And he came in and he gave up some runs. And then in the seventh inning, he started the seventh inning. First two guys got on base. David Robinson, my ass. So I ask you, why bring in old Bart David Robinson? He's like 2,000 years old. Why don't you try Aaron Nola, huh? Huh? Dodgers started Ohtani, and he pitched great for the Dodgers. 9 strikeouts? And other than the second inning, he pitched great. But then, when Ohtani came out of the game, the Dodgers, their bullpen's not that good. But at least they know it. The next pitcher after Ohtani was one of their starters, Tyler Glasnow. And he pitched okay, but at least it was better than stinking David Robinson. The thing is, the Phillies had Ranger Suarez, who's supposed to pitch game 3, but that's not till Wednesday. They had Aaron Nola at their disposal. God forbid I even say it, but I'm going to say it. They even had Taiwan stinking Walker at their disposal. But no. They go to David Robinson. Well, and it's not like this guy's been great for the team all year long. They picked him up off the scrap heap, and he's okay. He's okay, but he's not like this great pitcher. You put him into a playoff game, and man. So then he gets him in trouble. 7th inning, you know the story. Matt Strom comes in, gives up a 3-run homer to Hernandez, or whatever the hell his name is. all of a sudden it goes from 3-2 to 5-3. And that's the way it ended. 5-3. 5-3. So Phillies lose game one of the series. And now it's not over because the Phillies play tonight again. Same place, same time. I mean, 6 o'clock, they're playing the Dodgers again at Citizens Bank Park. It's a must-win game for the Phillies because if they lose tonight, they're down 0-2 and they're going out west to LA for the next two games. And there's no way they're going to win the two games out in LA. It's just, the Dodgers are just too good. They're too good. So it's a must-win tonight. The Phillies must win tonight to have a shot. If they win, it's 1-1. They go out west. If they split the games out there, that's great. They come back here Saturday night, winner take all, one game to move on, right? I'll take my chances. But the boys have to win tonight at home. And I think they will. They've played well at home. What is it about this offense that chokes in the playoffs? I mean, the big boys have to step it up. The only way the Phillies are going to win the World Series or even move on in these players, forget about the World Series. Forget I even said that. The only way they're going to win a game is the stars have to shine in the playoffs. Bryce Harper, meaningless hit late in the game. Strikes out when it really counts. Kyle Schwarber has been great all year. Struck out 3 times Saturday night. Looked bad doing it too. Trey Turner, meaningless. 1 for 11. These 3 guys were Saturday. 1 for 11. That's not going to get it done. You got Nick Castellanos 0 for 2. Comes in the game late. Doesn't do a damn thing. JT Realmuto hit that big triple. At least he did something. They look tight. They look tight again. Even on defense, they look tight. This is a veteran team. In fact, the Phillies have one of the oldest teams in baseball. You would think, we've been down this road before. It's going to be redemption. This is our chance to redeem ourselves after years of choking and embarrassment. But instead, they look tight again, even on defense. Ground balls hit them, and they can't get the ball out of their gloves. They had a double hitch. They can't throw the ball. It's like, stop it. You're too tight. I'm telling you. Well, the frustrating thing is you follow this team all year long, as you probably have. And at the end of the day, when it counts in the playoffs, they let you down. It happens every single year. I mean, they ran the same team back practically from last year. If you run the same team back, you expect the same results, right? I mean, we don't have Zach Wheeler. That's a big loss. But we do have Durand, the relief pitcher who we didn't have last year, and Harrison Bader, who hopefully is okay. Pulled groin or some strain or some damn thing groin-wise in there. So anyway, I think he's going to play too. But, I don't know. You know what it is? My fault. The Dodgers know what it takes to win. Even though Ohtani had a bad note, struck out, 4 times Saturday. Freeman, 1 hit. Didn't do much. Mookie Betts didn't do much. These guys were like terrible at the plate too. But even though their top 3 guys were terrible, the Dodgers still won. They find a way to win. That's what I'm trying to spit out here. What I'm trying to say. They find a way to win. The Dodgers know how to win. The Phillies don't know how to win. That's the problem. They win regular season games. They won 96 games this year, which is great. They win the division again, which is great. But when it comes down to the playoffs and beyond, they don't know how to win. They don't. They get all tight. They can't do it. They just can't do it. And we make excuses, blah, 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 blah. Maybe this group just isn't good enough. Maybe they're not. Tonight is going to tell us something because they should bounce back at home. They should, if they have any heart, they should, if they're facing Blake Snell, who put them down 2 weeks ago in LA, struck out 12. If they have any heart, they're going to get after Blake Snell, knock him the hell out of the game, get into the Dodgers bullpen, knock them around, and win the freaking game, maybe 12-3, right? If they had any heart. You send the series back to LA 1-1. But we're going to find out because if they don't have any heart and they go down 0-2, you know, like I know, like Coco knows over there, that this team just isn't good enough. They're just not cut out to win. And you're going to have to break these guys up. You know, who knows where Alec Bohm is going to go? Who knows about Brandon Marsh? Who knows if JT's coming back next year, or Ranger, or Kyle Schwarber, all these free agent guys, you know? I mean, it could be a totally different looking team next year if they don't get their act together. You know, they know how to party. The Phillies know how to party. They can party with the best of them. Oh, my. Can they party? Spraying the champagne around, eating stuff, smoking big cigars, you know, running around the clubhouse with no clothes on. They can party. But can they play baseball when the chips are down? We're going to find out tonight. I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to win somehow, some way behind Jesus Luzardo. And I think they're going to tie this series. If they don't, we'll be very, very pissed off and very disappointed. Too bad I don't have tickets to this game, or else I'd go down there and kick some ass before the game. I'd put these guys up against the wall and say, look. I don't get mad very often. I don't get tough very often. Wheelchair or not, put Bryce Harper up against the wall and say, look, you need to start playing better. You need to hit the ball, and you need to do stuff. Do good, Bryce Harper. Do good. Okay, well, anyway, that's the Phillies, huh? The rest of baseball, you know, the Mariners, they tied it up last night, 1-1. You know, we're going to see about the Cubbies in Milwaukee tonight. The Yankees, I don't want to be in their shoes. They're going home tomorrow down 0-2. I mean, what the hell? And the Yankees got clobbered. They gave up the most runs they've ever given up in the long history of the Yankees with Babe Ruth and Joe DiMaggio and all those guys, Mickey Mantle. They gave up the most runs in their 2 games in Toronto over the weekend in their history. So I wouldn't want to be in their shoes, I'll tell you that right now. But I'm just worried about my Phillies, and let's go tonight. All right, so on to the Eagles. What is it with these teams? Our Philadelphia team, they get out in the lead and they don't know how to handle the lead. You know what? We're too spoiled around here. You know, all these fans, these mamby-pamby pampered fans nowadays, they're too spoiled. They should have came up when I was growing up, back in 1822, when our Philadelphia team sucked and they were in last place every single freaking year. And we were lucky we won 2 games a year. Nowadays, you lose 1 game, people are jumping off the freaking Ben Franklin Bridge into the Delaware River. Eagles up 17-3, going into the 4th quarter. You're thinking Eagles got this game. All they need to do is add on. That's what the Phillies didn't do. They scored 3 runs in the 2nd inning, and they did not add on. And you don't add on to make the lead bigger, and it's going to come back to bite you. And that's what happened to the Eagles. Up 17-3, undefeated Philadelphia Eagles going into the fourth quarter. You thought, this is a piece of cake. Denver Broncos, they can't score. They're not doing anything. You get into the fourth quarter, even if you kick a field goal or two, at least it extends the lead and it makes it tougher for the Broncos to come back. Problem is, Eagles, they shut down scoring in the second half again, like they did last week against Tampa. And the thing is, I'm okay with the Eagles throwing the ball. A.J. Brown was bitching and complaining all week. I don't get the ball, blah, 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 blah. They give him the ball. Devontae Smith has over 100 yards receiving. Dallas Goedert had a good game. Saquon Barkley caught a pass for a touchdown. It's okay to throw the ball to get out to the lead. But then once you get into the lead, Eagles, hello, McFly. Hello, McFly, are you there? Then you run the ball. You have one of the greatest runners in the game, Saquon Barkley. You use him. Saquon Barkley only ran the ball 5 times yesterday. 5. And that's not going to do it. What, you're up ahead? What are you doing throwing the ball in the fourth quarter? That's when you want to take time off the clock. That's when you want to get Barkley going. I understand, like the TV guy said, whoa, they can't run the ball because they have 8 men in the box. They're daring you to throw the ball. Yes, that's true. But other teams put 8 men in the box against Barkley last year, and he just broke through. And that's how he got all of his big yards. And I know the offensive line for the Eagles is mush right now. Mush. It isn't what it used to be. They're not opening the holes for Barkley. That's part of the problem right there. If you're not going to have your offensive line working for you, it's just going to make it tougher. I don't care if you're Jim Brown or whoever, Walter Payton stuff. You're not going to get any yards if the offensive line doesn't open the holes for you. So, anyway. But at least got to try. The only run Saquon Barkley 5 times yesterday is a crime. So everybody's blaming this new offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo, whatever his name is. And anyway, the players got to play. The players got to produce. But could they have run the ball a little bit more yesterday, especially in the second half of the fourth quarter, to wind the clock down? Yes, they could have. But, Denver came back. Tip your hat to Denver. They came back, and they know, with Sean Payton, their head coach, they know how to win, and they won. They had a 2-point conversion to make it 18-17. They tacked on a field goal at the end. And yes, the referees were bad yesterday. And it seemed like a lot of the penalties went against the Eagles. Some were warranted and some weren't. And then you got to play with Dallas Goedert down to the 5-yard line at the end of the game, and it's not called for pass interference, when clearly it was. It would have gave the ball to the Eagles around the 5-yard line. Maybe only one play, but, you could do so much more at the 5 than you can at the 30. Maybe you do run Barkley from the 5 and he squirts into the end zone. But it just seemed like the chips were against. The chips are down, and the God was against the Eagles yesterday. All these penalties. Stop it. They act like they're an undisciplined team or something. So, it's a loss, and we're not used to that anymore. We're used to the Eagles winning. They've been on this long winning streak since they won the Super Bowl, and 5-0, 4-0 this year. So when you lose, it really stands out because, to their credit, the Eagles haven't lost very much in the last calendar year. So I guess maybe that's why this loss hurts a little bit more, because it was a home loss. It was you're up by 14 points and you blow that lead. And you know, Cowboys and the Commanders both won yesterday. So they're not too far behind the Eagles now. But still, with all that said, we are still this. You see that? Super Bowl champions. You see what that says? Super Bowl 59 champions. We are still the champs. So no need to panic. It's only one game. Good thing is the Eagles turn around really quick and play Thursday night. 3 days from now, they play again. They're up in New York. They play the stinking Giants. The Giants suck. They're not good. Eagles should go up there and kick some ass, especially Saquon Barkley. Back in New York, your old stomping grounds. This is a chance for you to stick it to the Giants and get back on track. 100-yard game, rushing, receiving. I think Saquon Barkley is going to have a good game Thursday night. So maybe to get the bad taste out of their mouths after this bad loss, it's kind of good that they have a game on Thursday, especially playing the Giants division game. You want to win that game. So let's hope so, Let's hope this offensive coordinator gets his head out of his butt and starts calling some good plays. And the boys, stop making so many stupid penalties too, okay? Damn. It hasn't been good. It hasn't been around here. But you know what? Let's look positively. Do I need to start playing the "Oh What a Beautiful Morning" again? Do I want to play that shit? No, I don't want to play that shit. But we got to start thinking positive, and it starts tonight. Okay, my friends. Let's wash away the weekend. That's in the past. It's in the rearview mirror. We're not going to worry about it anymore. Starting tonight, the Phillies are going to win. They're going to beat the freaking Dodgers and tie that series 1-1, going back to LA. Then the Eagles are going to go up to New York on Thursday, start a new winning streak, and kick the ass of the Giants there. And it's going to go on and on and on. So, think positive today, okay, friends? I know. You're down in the dumps. I am too. But you got to lift yourself up by the bootstrap and you got to say, hey, I'm not going to take it anymore. I refuse to be down. I refuse to be depressed. We're going to, damn it, we're going to start tonight and the Phillies are going to win. There. I'm glad I got that out of my system. All right, everybody. Well, have a good day. As good as you can. Okay? As good as you can. Yeah, one good thing is the Eagles weren't alone yesterday. The Buffalo Bills, the last undefeated team in the league, were beaten last night at home, where Buffalo very, very rarely loses. The New England Patriots went in there and beat them yesterday. So you think you got problems? Buffalo. I don't think I'd want to be in Buffalo either. It was just another wacky, crazy day in the NFL yesterday. So it's a lot of fun. But when your team loses, especially in the playoffs, you get pissed. So let's get out there. Everybody who's lucky enough to have a ticket to the game tonight, go and enjoy it and root for the Phillies. And things might happen tonight. I think they will. All right, everybody. Take care. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll be back again soon. We'll talk about more Phillies baseball. Hopefully, they're going to wake up as they go to LA this week, Wednesday and Thursday. And we'll be back to talk about that. And later in the week, we'll talk football. Before Thursday, we'll talk about Eagles, G-Men, Giants, Thursday night at the Meadowlands up in it's technically New Jersey. This is stupid. But they still call them the New York Giants, but they play in Jersey, damn it. Damn it, don't confuse people. All right, everybody, take care. And you know what? When times get tough, don't forget this. Huh? And don't forget this. The Eagles are still the Super Bowl champs. And until they're not, somebody's gonna have to take this hat away from me. I don't know who's but anyway. All right. Peace and love, everybody. I'll talk to you again soon. All right. Have a great week. Bye bye. Go Phillies tonight. Go. You better do it. Don't make me come down there and kick some ass. Don't make me do it. All right. Talk to you soon.